here in the Purple Door Laboratory, and I'm going to kind of walk you through how we make soap. First of all, we need to talk a little teensy bit about safety, which is why I have these gorgeous goggles on and gloves. You do not want to touch lye. It's very caustic and can burn you very badly. Rule of thumb here, we never do this. You never add water to lye because you end up with a burning hot volcano. So you take the lye, which has already been measured. This is about 8 ounces of lye, 18 ounces of water. And slowly add the lye to the water. This reeks and you really shouldn't be breathing it in. I do something really technical, like holding my breath kind of and staying back. And I can feel the heat coming off of this water. It's probably about 190 degrees. This is coconut oil, and this gives soap its suds, but it can be really drying, so you have to find the right ratio of other oils and coconut oils so you get sudsy but not drying to the skin. This is what makes good soap, great soap. Cocoa butter, shea butter. This is sweet almond oil, and this is what I'm going to use to super fat. I am super fatting this also with coconut milk, which has the consistency probably of whipped cream and smells like coconut, and you can eat it. It's really fatty. This is fragrance oil. I'm using almond today, which is really strong. So I'm only going to use a couple ounces for 5 pounds of soap. Everything is also measured by weight and not volume in soap making, so that's why I'm using a scale instead of measuring cups. What I'm doing now is melting the oils. This is the olive oil, coconut, and palm oil. I'm going to melt these down slowly. I don't want them to get too hot. And after these have melted, but the oil is still hot, I'm going to add the butters. If you don't add the shea butter at the right time, you're going to end up with soap that's gritty. Well, we don't like that at Purple Door, so we're going to do it the right way. Some things that we do here exclusively at Purple Door to make our soap better is listening to Pandora. I find you get a better product when you listen to Allman Brothers, Fleetwood Mac, Elton John. Another safety tip is if you wouldn't drive a car, don't make soap. So if you're at all impaired, you probably shouldn't be making soap. Cool. Having said that, I am enjoying a roadie today. But just one, because I really don't want to wreck the soap or burn myself with lye. But it's supposed to be fun and relaxing. Now I'm going to kind of shave this and chop this cocoa butter. It's really hard. You can see it's not the consistency of a butter. At this point, all the solid fats are almost completely melted. So I'm going to put the shea butter in because the oil is cool enough now where I won't end up with a gritty soap. If you get the shea butter too hot, it gets gritty and gross. It doesn't take a lot of heat to melt it. You can actually melt it right on your skin. So I'm just going to let this sit here for a little bit. There is no heat, and it should melt on its own. You need your lye and water mixture to be the same temp as your oil. So here's where the magic happens. I'm going to add these two things together. And this is how lye and oil turns into soap. First I'm going to mix it just by hand a little bit. You can already see it's turning cloudy. And that's actually the chemical process of it turning into soap. So then we're going to hit it with the stick blender. This is the handiest tool ever. You can't make soap without it. Watch how fast it works. I don't want to hit it too much or it's going to trace too quickly. It traces when it starts to get really thick. And shea butter will cause it to trace rather quickly, so you have to be a little careful. Take your time. So I think right now I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg, which does absolutely nothing for your skin, but it looks cute in the soap. Gives it a little bit of texture and color. It's starting to trace on its own just by sitting in this pot. This mixture right now, even though it's starting to turn into soap, is still extremely caustic, so if it hits your skin, it will burn you. Now I'm going to add the fun stuff. I'm going to super fat it. And super fat just means fats and oils that are not going to be consumed by lye. Sweet almond oil. It's scent-free. It's very thick. It's a super awesome moisturizer. Then I'm going to add almond fragrance oil. It smells great. Pour that in. And I'm just going to stir this by hand a little bit. If I use the stick blender at this point, it'll thicken too quickly. Now I'm going to add the coconut milk. And this has a lot of sugar in it, and sugar will also accelerate trace. But sugar also makes suds. It makes a big bubbly suds for some reason. I don't know, and you can use powdered sugar or any liquid that has a high sugar content. So right now it kind of looks like gravy, and I want to pour it at a kind of a pudding consistency. So watch how quickly this is going to thicken on me. Now we're going to pour it. So I have a really awesome husband who made these great molds for me. I lined them with freezer paper. And if you go online and get directions on how to line these things, you're going to find all kinds of people who spend a lot of time folding and doing some super unnecessary things. I don't do that. I just shove it in there and make it work. It's not that technical. So I want to pour this really slowly because I don't want any air in it. So I'm just going to take this, scooch it in. You do not want bubbles. So at this point, a lot of people get really fancy and make a special top. I don't. I like a more rustic looking bar, and I also want people to use it and not save it for special or put it on a doily. So we're just going to let it be simple and great, just like it is. Okay. I'm going to cover this with wax paper because it helps to keep it from getting something called soda ash, which isn't harmful to your skin. It's not an indicator of poor quality of soap. It's just something that happens, but I don't like it. So we're going to do this. And now we're going to wait until this gets into gel stage. And this is a super technical thing I'm doing. I think you're going to like it. So to get our soap to gel, we have a really cool piece of equipment here. We wrap it in a towel. We put it on top of the dryer. And then we dry some clothes. It's not kidding. This will warm this up just enough to force the soap into a really nice gel in a hurry. Alright, we'll come back to that later. According to the dryer, it's been about 20 minutes. So we're going to unwrap and see where we're at. And we have almost a complete gel stage. This is gel. It's heaving a little bit and it's really hot. I think when we started mixing it was about 100 degrees and now it's up to 150 degrees. So we're just gonna let it continue to gel all the way to the end of the mold. Wrap it back up. Check on it in 10 minutes. And when it's completely gelled, we're gonna unwrap it and put it someplace so it can cool. This is about 5 pounds of 24 karat, and I've lobbed the end off so that I can try it out before I sell it. This is my cutter that Tim made. What I'm trying to do is get a pretty good chunk and slice. Lovely. We also want to test it out to make sure it's not lye heavy, and this is how we do that. Taste it. It's not shocking my tongue. It doesn't taste wonderful, but if your kid's a potty mouth, you don't want to use this soap because it's not very caustic. And this is not lye heavy at all. It's wonderful.